chests and use them anywhere. That has been reintroduced tonight. Small keys being a 100 rupee item you can purchase in certain shops, and they will be usable in all dungeons. So you can steal small keys from a dungeon, use them anywhere you want.
It's $20, and I think Uncle gave us something about Ecuador.
I believe that was something in French. I assume it had to do with a clone advertisement.
Okay. Tells you how much I know about French.
I was honestly just guessing about the contents of the message. We have a great international community here with Link to the Past Randomizer, so I'm sure somebody in chat's about to light up and tell me exactly how wrong I was about that.
Oh, and we get a Uncle Sword open.
So this is Uncle Assured, I guess, after all.
I suppose so.
Oh, a nice early blue mail.
Be a nice safety net.
So this is not a traditional seed variant where you really are looking for that blue mail, something like Inverted or Randomizer, where that can be a huge high-value item, but nonetheless really nice to have out of the way early on.
Yeah, you're gonna see our runners farming, trying to kill some of these guards for bombs as they're moving their way through Hyrule Castle. We need at least one to get to those back chests. We'll see if it's in the prize pack for these guards tonight.
That's right, neither one of our runners is going to want to leave those chests behind, since we are going to be waiting on a power glove in order to drop back down and check them at a later time. So finding that bomb drop here is a pretty big deal for this intro segment.
That's more money.
You know, these big 20 drops, again, due to the nature of the retro mode, a big 20 being a couple pieces of ammunition for the basic bow, a nice chunk of change towards small keys if you need them. So not quite... we do still need a lot of money for our basic checks in Kakariko Village and Village Vowcast, but cash definitely being something our runners are going to be keeping in mind for at least the first portion of the seed.
That ball and chain guard just takes 2 pots, 8 slashes with the sword, or a mix of the two to take down.
Both of our runners making their way towards the back of escape. Probably going to see them do a couple more enemy kills when they get there. Still looking for some bombs. The game has been a little stingy with those explosives for us so far. So while we're waiting here and just watching these runners run through the escape sequence, let's talk a little bit about more of those retro settings. So an interesting thing about retro is the any cave setting. Those are the sort of single entrance caves that exist in the Zelda overworld. Normally you won't see a runner touch any randomizer seed. One of those caves will have a sword upgrade in it. So the general item pool only has up to the tempered sword. We are going to need to find that any cave in order to get a butter sword if we want in the seed.
Maybe these rats have some bombs.
There we go, Mentosman.
Alright, well, Mentosman is in the clear. We know that that's in the prize pack for the rats. And there's that small key that we need as well. It had to be there. And BrewersFanJP also finding a bomb, so they're good to go now for the back half escape.
Yep, both looking good. I mean, it's only one bomb, but we just need that one bomb for a huge sense of peace.
Oh, more bombs. That'll be our bombs for Kakariko.
Yeah, that's actually one of the few times this seed you might be happy to see that 3 bomb drop. That is nice to see. We get to save some money, and again, with this seed setting, saving money is a factor.
Mentosman makes his way out of the escape at 6:13, with JP shortly behind at 6:19.
Yeah, I think due to the bomb drops and having to fish for them, we were not going to be seeing that sub-6 escape you might see in other seeds.
So I saw a pendant at Desert.
Yeah, and I saw the number 7 crystal on Tower of Hera.
And I missed... Oh, Eastern is the green pendant.
Oh, vanilla green! Look at that! And there we go. That's actually one of the Eddy caves, giving you the option to choose between a full heart upgrade or a blue potion. JP finding a small key on the Lumberjack ledge. Now that is an interesting item because we will have to kill Aga 1 at some point in this seed. Aga 1 being the requirement for Dark World is not necessarily a requirement. We will have to see what else develops, but if Aga 1 is required for Dark World access, that small key could be a pretty tempting thing to pick up.
Bow and Moon Pearl in the back of Sahashila's hut.
Wow, that's some good stuff in his closet. Now, since we are in retro mode, even though Mentosman does have that bow, he needs to buy an item from the shops in order to fire the bow, and that's going to cost him 80 rupees.
Yeah. We also found the shovel on JP's side. Mentos checking another Take Any Cave location. It's
Yep,
not there.
just vanilla. BrewersFan finding one, deciding he's going to head back in there.
So we found 2 of the 5.
So with that bow already in hand, if Mentosman, he's going to need to spend 80 rupees when he finds a shop to buy that wooden arrow item, and then he's going to need at least another, that's between killing the Armos Knights and the Igors leading up to it, that's about 220 rupees total. That'd be just to clear Eastern Palace.
That sounds about right. I mean, unless he wants to use swords, use a sword instead on the Armos Knights, but that would be really slow.
Oh yeah, those non-traditional Armos Knights kills can be a little tedious.
Fire Rod.
All right, so Mentosman grabbing the fire rod in the mini Moldorm cave. JP finding basically a chunk of change and a little bit of health in the blind hut area. So Mentosman, it looks like, is going to be heading over towards the ice rod cave area while JP continues to explore Kakariko.
Well, I found the flute as well.
That is a fantastic find early in the scene, and that is actually a very generous placement since both runners, once they get the flute, will be immediately placed to go turn that in. Speaking of immediate turn-ins, JP finding a bottle and another 300 rupees.
It's a pretty solid Kakariko open.
Yeah, Kakariko being very generous for the runners this seed.
Mentosman also found the silver arrows.
Silver arrows, very powerful. They work in terms of offensive potential as they normally would in a seed, but they cost 50 rupees per shot. So if you want to use those silver arrows on a boss like Vitreous, you've got to have some deep pockets.
Mentosman is fake flippering his way up to the man under the bridge.
Oh, JP finding his third any cave.
So there's only 2 more at large.
That's right. Mentosman taking advantage of that Moon Pearl to do a little bit of sequence breaking as JP finishes up his Kakariko checks.
Alright, Mentosman. He's probably going to make his way over to Kakariko now.
Oh, is that Ether?
Maybe. I'll check it here in just a second. Affirmative.
Alright, so we've got some Ether in the library. And with 2 pendants in the light world, Turtle Rock and Misery Mar both being crystals, looking pretty likely.
Oh boy, there it is.
Oh!
That shovel paying off in spades.
You know, I'm not sure about that pun, but I think I can dig it.
Mentosman also finds that shovel that'll be pretty important.
Yeah, hopefully he does not elect to skip that check and go do something else, because with that bow already in his inventory, and he's going to get that flute before he's done here with Kakariko, might be a little tempting for him to immediately move to Eastern Palace. Meanwhile, JP finishing up the overall checks that Mentosman has already done, grabbing his fire rod from Mini Moldorm Cave.
So while our runners are retracing their steps, I'm just gonna recap what our mode is here today. The first symbol means all dungeons. The second symbol with Zelda is standard mode, or standard state. The third symbol is randomized swords. The fourth symbol, the N, is for normal difficulty. And the fifth symbol is our variation, which is retro.
That's right, and for retro mode, we have a couple links that chat has been kind enough to throw out for us that outline the exact particulars. But just for the quick version, arrows cost money, small keys work anywhere and can be purchased for money, and some of our items like the fourth sword upgrade and several of our hearts have been hidden throughout the overworld.
So BrewersFanJP is giving us our first look at Death Mountain. He's gonna go rescue the old man first. The old man is out of sequence, but everything else up here would be in sequence.
That's right. Probably the main reason coming up here would be to get that old man save point, which is a very useful place to restart the game after a save and quit. I have to see if the old man gives us a progression item, which could cause sequence breaking, and we've seen that both be a benefit and a sort of curse for our runners.
Just the key.
Yeah, key not bad. Just saving some cash in the meantime, and given the fact that the runners have as many keys as they have rupees to afford, not going to really impact their the seed in terms of logic.
Yeah, ever since V30 added the hint system, a lot of players have been really opting just to go check this item blind, just so they can also just read the hint.
I definitely feel like this hint is sort of like left side sewer in that I've seen people skip it, but skipping it has never cost them a race. But skipping it can cost you a race, but skipping it has never won a race.
The green text, just a joke hint. I didn't even read what it said. I'm sure it was funny.
I saw some letters. That was about it.
Alright, Mentosman, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna turn in the shovel?
I thought he was going to go find us some jokes.
And a good move on JP's part. He doesn't know it yet, but he's going to be finding that bow really soon, and those wooden arrows are really going to pay off. He doesn't have to go find them later.
That's right, and Mentosman still has not purchased his wooden arrows, despite having had that bow for about 10 minutes now.
And Mentosman is going to do the race game for this. Something you can see yourself in.
Oh, and we've got a mirror there at JP finding in Paradox Cave.
Be in a bottle. And the bad boomerang. It's a matter of opinion, but not really.
I'm with you. That's the bad boomerang.
All right, Mentosman making the right play and turning in the shovel.
This is great news for him. He's not going to miss out on this hook shot.
He's probably going to make a beeline to Death Mountain. Yeah. Piece of heart on floating island. We'll probably never see that again.
Especially with both of our runners already on their second row of hearts.
It's a pretty healthy seed.
JP doing the walk of shame here.
You call it the walk of shame until you find the boots there. Alright, JP, what are you going to do next?
Well, with that mirror, he still does not have the moon pearl, though. That was a sequence break to, where was that?
Was it in Waterfall? I don't remember. I have a bad memory.
I think he needed it for Waterfall Cave to get in there.
Oh, that's right.
So we've got our last pendants on Turtle Rock, 5-6 crystals in Skull Woods and Thieves Town.
The tracker letting us know that it was in Sahashilo's closet, which BrewersFanJP has not visited yet. Hence why he also doesn't have his bow.
JP getting one of our more useful hints there, finding out that the purple chest from the Smith chain is just going to have a piece of heart so he can skip all the time required to unlock that.
And Power Glove was also found by BrewersFanJP.
Oh, there we go. We're creeping a little bit closer to Darkhold access.
Mentos now claims his wooden arrows.
JP having a couple difficulties there with those torches, but luckily there's the big magic under the pot, so being able to make it through there.
It was almost as if it was designed that way. A unique item is above the post. That would refer to graveyard ledge. And we also
That's right, and we've already got that mirror.
still need a moon pearl to get over there, but we do know that he's going to make a check for that place now.
Yeah, JP has some good momentum being here in Tower of Hera. He just needs to get over to Sahasrara to grab that moon pearl and that bow.
It also set him up to route in Eastern Palace as well, because he already picked up his wooden arrows.
That's a good point, but he did also just pick up in, I think both items were here in Tower of Hera, Power Glove and the book. And what other Light World dungeon do we need those two items for?
I think it's a very sandy location. BrewersFanJP defeating the first boss of this run.
Very nice Moldorm kill. No trolling at all.
And although BrewersFanJP will be able to look at this tablet with the book, he won't be able to claim the item until we find an upgrade. But in this case, we probably won't be seeing that again. That was just a heart container.
Yeah, it's a very nice check to get out of the way, but definitely not something he's going to take the time to come back over here and get once he finds that Master Sword. And speaking of sand...
Yeah, with the fire rod and the power glove, he'll be able to full clear this.
Yeah, and especially getting that fire rod, meaning he'll be able to do a quick kill on Landmo with that. That's 6 fire rod shots total. Now, while we've got JP making his way through Desert Palace, Mentos is going through Tower of Hera. We know he's gotten those gloves. He's going to get that book. Is Mentos going to also feel that he's being diverted to Desert, or is he going to go ahead and do that Eastern play? Since Eastern is that green pendant, giving it a little bit more value.
I mean, both are really viable options at this point for him. Generic key and some bombs require something.
That's a big red bomb. That is our Pyramid Fairy hint. have a feeling that we probably won't be seeing Pyramid Fairy given those restrictions. I mean, we will get that red crystal relatively early in the seed, since our red crystals are Thieves Town, which is one of the typically the first dungeon done once you have access to Dark World, and Skull Woods, which is again a dip is common, and we've already got the Fire Rod to kill Mothula. But even with both those things combined, I mean, even just buying the big bomb is probably not going to be a rupee savings.
So, to recap the hints that we know and what's useful, we know right now, as Mentosman reminded us, there is a unique item above Graveyard Ledge. On Graveyard Ledge Cave. I think that's the only useful hint we've gotten so far. Besides also knowing what the purple chest has.
Yeah, I think that the Graveyard List has been our sort of positive hint, whereas the other hints that we've received at least tell us things that we can avoid, that we don't need to worry about. Oh, and Mentos getting Troll. Oh!
That middle hole, that's the worst one.
The multi-level Troll. There we go, JP putting that Fire Rod to work. Beautiful ammo kill for the Titan's Mitts. Oh, if he had that Moon Pearl, Dark World access.
Hey, at least we know where our Dark World access is at. Will he go to Sahashi's closet? I mean, like, I don't see what else he can do at this point.
I mean, he could try to dip Dark World and hope, like it looks like right here. He might be heading into Dark World, and he's going to go up to Checkerboard Cave, because while you are the bunny, you can at least still use the mirror to get back to Dark World. Although he is technically not a bunny right now. He is a horned worm of some kind.
Murderodactyl, please. Mentosman also claiming his first pendant, or first crystal.
And that was Ether for the Meyer access. I think we got a boots requirement on the board. Thanks to that Ether pendant being back on library.
Both of our runners given a high five. Sort of. Like a delayed high, like a time-shifted high five.
Sort of a sandy high five. How about that?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, it looks like Mentos kind of getting the same impression from JP. Tower of Hera having both of the desert items, so pointing him in this direction. And since we know those mitts are in there, it's going to be fantastic for him to have these early on.
Alright.
Yeah, JP making his way over to Sahasrara, stopping off for a couple of caves, but still going to make his way there.
That means that JP will be probably the first one to have our Dark World access. Now it'll always be a question of what he'll do with it. I suspect he'll probably go to Village of Outcasts, and because there's 2 dungeons that he can knock out just right there.
That's right, and even with the intel about Pyramid Fairy, still a very tempting option to go right there.
I mean, I could see him probably finishing Eastern. It's in the area. Yeah, I was like, that's what he's doing here.
Yeah, I'm just looking at his bank balance there, and 180 rupees to burn on the Armos Knight, no problem at all. I'm sorry, that's 300 rupees if you use silvers.
So after Mentosman gets his Dark World access, do you think he's gonna go for Eastern, or do you think he's gonna immediately go to the Dark World?
That is a great question, because Mentos does not have JP's incentive to hit Eastern Palace. He will have immediately access to Dark World. So, like, when he makes his first trip to Mire, he can hit both the Shed and the Checkerboard Cave. I think he's going to probably focus on Dark World locations before he goes back to Eastern Palace area. Plus, with Eastern Palace, you have the additional wrinkle that you could need to dip into those dark rooms to complete the dungeon, and neither of our runners has found the lamp yet.
Some bombs are in Palace of Darkness. Yeah. Well, we found our second sword upgrade.
Yep, so that's 2 out of 3 in the general drop pool. And this being retro mode, our 4th sword is in a cave somewhere in the overworld we still have not located.
So what BrewersFanJP is checking out is out of logic, but since he has to complete this dungeon anyway as part of the all dungeons goal, it does make sense to at least get it out of the way. He did skip though the vanilla big key chest, so I wonder if he'll go back for that. Unless we didn't find did we find the map and compass?
I believe I saw at least one of those items. Oh, neither one.
Alright, that's why he skipped it then. Okay, that makes sense now.
So JP is going for the cheaper option here with the wooden arrow ice armor, or sorry, just regular armor skill, only costing 180.
I have to agree with that. You don't know where you're going to need those rupees next, and you may want to just save them for Vitreous.
Yes, if they do end up Vitreous and they are still stuck with the Master Sword, bow's going to look a little bit more tempting, whereas the Tempered Sword could work, assuming they found an invuln item by that point. So we have a lot of seed ahead of us before we get to that juncture. And there's Quake, our first medallion.
So we'll have to see if that Quake medallion is relevant to us. We don't know what Turtle Rock requires yet.
That's right, we know Ether is needed from Mire, and we know where Ether is at. We just need the boots to access that medallion. So Quake on TR could make that green pendant a big deal.
I think Mentosman is about ready to answer our question. That's
Oh!
bombos. So that was Bombos on Turtle Rock.
I'm okay with this result because we still have no idea where Bombos is.
So another thing about retro mode is it does mess up your item counting in dungeons. Without a variation, you know how many items you need to find in each dungeon, but now you have to account for the keys that are now maybe somewhere else in the item pool.
That's
so you
right.
use that, and I'll admit I don't know what those numbers are.
I believe it's 10 small keys have been removed from dungeons, so they are just out of the item pool entirely. And I'm not sure what they've been replaced with. I'm going to guess rupees, given the fact that the arrows have been removed from the item pool as well. With the intention being that you either buy or steal those missing small keys.
So there's our map and compass. So we know the rest of the chests are probably going to be needed.
Yep, JP grabbing small keys. Another thing about this mode, small keys that are under pots or dropped from enemies are still in those locations respectively. So that is a great way to either steal a key or find a quick key if you need it within the dungeon.
So we know the big chest has an item.
Yeah, JP probably a little disappointed with that find. Was probably hoping to find one of the two unique items in that chest and the other one on Mothula, which is where he is headed right now.
We're going to see ourselves. He's only going to have 1 or 2 fire rod shots, so he's going to have to make use of his sword. Kind of use the fire rod to kind of manipulate Mothula. Mothula only will take damage when he's out of the spikes. That's kind of why, as a kid, you probably thought this fight was really hard.
Yeah, Mothula definitely being one of the more annoying fights in this game.
JP makes it pretty easy.
That moth also being pretty trivial in Randomizer. I personally commentated a seed earlier today. We saw 4 Mothulas in that seed. It's a lot of fun.
It's really the room that makes that boss hard, not the boss itself.
Yeah, fighting something like Moldorm in that room, also not a pleasant experience. Oh, and here we go.
Get your pedestal hype in chat.
Oh, rip the pet dream. Mentos having a little bit more of a tricky fight there with Moldorm, but still manages to pull it off, grabbing his crystal.
Moldor, Mothula, same difference, right?
Oh, did I? Oh my! I apologize.
No, they all feel the same, so as far as I'm concerned, they're the same thing.
Oh, there we go, finding our Bloomerang in the big chest.
So Bumper Cave has the red mail. I don't think we're probably going to see that again, even if the cape shows up.
Yeah, I think even given the health pools in the seed, even if our runners had the cape when they saw that, probably still would not have gone for it. Meanwhile, JP putting that hint tile to good use, knowing there's a unique item up here.
At least we know it can't be the single arrow, right?
Oh!
That's certainly unique.
And JP does not know that that is required for Turtle Rock yet, because he has not been over there.
We still have, they're still looking for those last two take any caves. One of which has our heart container, and then another one will have one of our sword upgrades.
Yep, and since we already have Master Sword, we could still have a sword upgrade locked in GT, and getting that Tempered Sword prior to GT for several of these bosses they still have remaining would be a pretty big deal.
Alright, and Mentosman8 is also going to claim his bombos. He does know that this is required for TR.
Yep, so for Mentos, this is going to be full medallion knowledge for him, not going to be worried about his access to either Mire or Turtle Rock now.
Alright, Blacksmith, what do you have for us? ₹5 for ₹5. Oh, and there's our lamp.
Yeah. Almost 50 minutes in.
It'll make our runners feel a little bit more comfortable. My dark rooms can be interesting.
Yeah, so far the only dark rooms both of our runners have done has been the ones with the old man, with JP having, I believe, skipped the eastern ones.
Both of our runners are now going to dive into Thieves Town. It's a good play.
So with both of our runners here in Thieves Town, almost certainly going to clear it. They're in a very similar position, with the major difference being that JP has finished Eastern Palace and, more importantly, found that second sword already. Mentos is still running on the fighter sword. How do you think this is going to impact them as we continue on the seed? How long until Mentos goes back to Eastern?
He may not go back to Eastern until he finds the hammer so that he can clear out Pod, so he can couple them together. That's what I'm thinking, at least. So he might be on the fighter sword for a while.
I agree. That makes a lot of sense for them. And also, it looks like another slight difference here. I'm not sure where this came from, if Mentos went to a shop or not, but he has quite a few more small keys than JP does at this time.
I don't recall Mentosman buying any keys. I think he just found them. Because he has checked some things that JP hasn't.
So yeah, definitely that increased number of keys could be having a routing impact later on, because a pod does require quite a few small keys in order to get through it.
Hey, by the way, did you catch the hint? Because I wasn't paying attention. Maybe chat can help us out.
I believe it was a unique item is in plain sight.
That could mean a whole lot of things.
Yes, that could be Desert Ledge, that could be Zora Ledge, Floating Island, Hylia Island. We know neither of those locations qualify in the seed, I believe.
I mean, I don't think we found a unique item on any of the locations that we've seen so far that would be in plain sight. So the hint could be relevant right now. Unless I'm mistaken in that regard.
Well, would that count something like the Library Ledge as plain sight?
It would be, yes. So, yep, that's probably what it's referring to then.
JP taking him out. No big deal with that blue mail.
It's playing some dodgeball with Blaine.
That's right, and thank you, chat, pointing out we also saw that red mail on Bumper Cave Ledge. Definitely qualifying for that hint as well.
I'm looking up what the unique items are, and I don't think that the mail upgrades are considered unique.
That is a great point. Since they do change depending on your inventory, they might not qualify.
Gloves do, though, which is kind of strange. So I won't question it.
I mean, honestly, I just feel personally attacked by the seed in this one.
K45 is a bust. So what's our next big item then? The hammer is still really at large.
Yeah, you know, it's rare to see a seed where you're missing the hammer and not feeling really blocked by it, but we're since we have so much mobility between the mitts and everything, not really feeling the hammer missing too much here.
If the flippers don't show up soon, we will be feeling it though, because it is locking out part of the dark world until we go do Agro 1. It'd be like the pod area. You couldn't get the pod without. You need the flippers, the hammer, we have to do Agro 1. Or there's like a fake flipper setup or something that you can also execute on. I don't know how it works though.
That is a great point.
I mean, since you have to do Agro 1 anyway, it doesn't really make sense to do that glitch to get over there. So you're probably just gonna just get Agro 1 out of the way.
Yeah, especially now that we found that that lamp, putting Agro 1 into logical access.
Yeah. I mean, Mentosman still needs to find a second sword.
Yeah, as soon as Mentosman is done with these Dark World checks, unless there's something else like on... actually, he can't even access the Bombos tablet without his Master Sword.
Alright, and Swamp Palace tells us a unique item is in Turtle Rock.
That could be the sort of legendary Ice Rod in TR. That's always fun to see.
Okay, I don't want to get into what ifs too much, but that would be that'd be an interesting unique item. I can tell you those 5 rupees are not unique though. So, BrewersFanJP, he can crack open Maya right now. He can't finish it without the Canis Maria.
He can't. That is Bombos is Turtle Rock. The Ether we need for Medallion.
I'm being bad then.
Yes, alright.
You can ignore everything I just said.
I've been so much worse. And there's the cane in the shed!
Well, that's interesting. Alright, so we just need to eat it then, which means boots.
And we do know we've got that unique item hiding in Turtle Rock, which we, unfortunately, we still do not have access yet without that hammer. So, definitely feeling that hammer lock now.
Can't. Yeah. Without hammer. I mean, if the progression's in pod, then we could end up in a scenario where we have to do Agro 1, logically at least.
Mentos surprise. Oh, there he goes. I was gonna say, I'm a little surprised he did not grab that 300.
I mean, normally you have to do 1,000 or so rupees, you can start ignoring money. But, you know, in retro, kind of need it.
Yeah,
So,
that vitreous silver kill is that is expensive.
I think we found. Yep, that's one of our sword upgrades in one of the Take Any caves.
All right, there we go. So Mentosman getting his Master Sword, so he now has his AGA 1 access, in case that is, in fact, our next progression point. And he is actually heading in Eastern, meaning he is going to get Tempered Sword almost immediately after the Master Sword.
That's certainly nice for him. And I don't think BrewersFanJP probably will not go and check that cave until he's ready to pod.
That's right, having cleared Eastern already and turned in the Green Pendant, he has literally 0 reasons to warp to that location until he is ready for Palace of Darkness. JP doing his hookshot cave. I believe Mentosman was here earlier. This is where he got one of his keys, and I believe a bottle was in here. Nope, just a key.
So right now, both of our runners are looking pretty healthy on keys, I'd say. They'll probably need more down the line, but for now they're looking pretty solid.
Oh, definitely. These guys can go wherever they want to, wherever the seed is telling them to go. And it looks like JP is reading this AGA 1 being the place to be.
Mentosman now has his Tempered Sword. Also realizing that Armos Knights can't have anything except the pendant. And half magic was also found on JP's side. And the blue cane. So both these chests in AGA Tower at least having some nice safeties for both of our runners. On Mentosman's side, he's going to engage the Armos Knights. I think he's going to opt to use silvers, so this is going to cost about $300. Goodbye money. And the hint is some cash held by someone friendly. Mentosman will also pick up his quick medallion. And Brewers is making his way up to Ganon's tower. And also Mentosman getting the hint that he should probably go to AGA 1 as well for that access to the eastern side of the Dark World.
Yeah, so here we are at AGA 1. Sinek, how many blue balls do you think it's tonight?
I'm gonna say 4.
Okay, I'm gonna go for 3.
Oh yeah, Price is Right. Well, we'll do Price is Right rules. There you go.
Be that guy that bids $4.99 when you bid $5.
Ball blue ball's number 1. In the second. It's a third blue ball. Uh, 3. Unless I miscounted.
I counted 3, so I was closest without going over. I get to go to the Showcase Showdown. That's what they call it, right?
Sure.
I don't know. I have a job. I don't watch CBS during the day.
You get your 500 rupee bonus as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got that exact bid.
Speaking of surprising things, where did that half magic come from?
That was the first chest of Aga Tower. And Blue Cane was in the second chest.
Okay, that's some nice quality of life, and that Blue King throwing Spike Cave into logic if we end up on Death Mountain again.
Brewers fan looking for that last take any cave. Yeah, he doesn't know where the sword is at. It's probably what he's really looking for.
Yeah, that is a shame. He has no idea, because we have seen from Mentos exactly where that sword is, literally just a flute away for him.
Oh, and Brewers fan taking damage and Kiki running away. That'll be another 10 rupees. Did you just get the Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. Please go ahead.
All I say is I see a bug net in Aga 1.
Yeah, Mentos, he might not get the first kill, but he is winning the crowd's hearts right now.
Alright, and Mentosman also brings down Aga 1. So those are 10 bombs. Those are the bombs that Uncle would give you if... Well, could have given you in this seed, but instead of getting the sword.
It's one of those things like the Sank Heart. It's always neat to see exactly where that pops up. So we're getting some neat divergence here. JP went straight to Pod, but Mentos is going to go for Catfish, and I'm gonna assume Zora right after that.
A unique item is in the Sage's Closet. So that would be referring to Agina? Or no, that would be referring to Sasha.
Yep, and we had 2 unique items in there with the bow and the moon pearl.
is 60, 70, 80.
Some very expensive spray and pray there.
Oh, there it is. Wow.
French vanilla hammer and pod.
I think that means BrewersFanJP may never find that sword taken, EK.
You know, that is a fantastic point. I think JP, unless he manages to luck into a sword in another dungeon or somewhere in GT, he's going to be doing a Master Sword Ganon at this point. Plus, we are getting dangerously close to go mode. We need those boots, the ice rod, and the flippers are the only unknown items.
And from a hint, we do know that there is a unique item in Turtle Rock.
Oh, that's an excellent point. Could be that ice rod. Could be those flippers.
All right, JP's giving us a hammer yelp. He's trying to buffer it up. There's this very specific setup for this. You have to have the perfect wife pixel. He's got it.
Nice location for that big T post hammer yum. And of course, it's the compass.
Now, I think the map is found, which means Helmasaur has something. Helmasaur King.
Alright, so there's the powder getting us another one of our fetch quest items.
And Mentosman is opting to do the front part of Meyer first. Or not Meyer, but Pod. It's actually not a bad route.
Yep, I think he might find that hammer a little bit later than JP did, but not going to be a factor for him, especially since he has that tempered sword already. So he's doing hammer damage with his sword slashes.
I will just say though, where we found that hammer is a pretty annoying location to find it. I'm not gonna lie there. It's not as bad in all dungeons.
Yeah, I mean, in general, finding any item that you need to finish a dungeon in the dungeon itself is pretty annoying, especially any end-all Dark World dungeons. But yeah, in Pod especially, given the mode, since the keys are all shuffled up, I mean, that chest is a key in how many seeds that you've seen versus being the hammer here tonight.
Exactly. So Pod has just so many keys and chests. Pod also just has a whole bunch of items in it. It's like 6 more items than you would normally see well, potentially depending on how many keys you get. But yeah, there's a lot of value in Pod, as that's been shown to us. Alright, BrewersFanJP kills Helmslord King.
Okay, so another small key, not too bad. JP knocking out that pod play.
Oh, there's our cape. I missed that earlier.
Yeah, probably not going to pop up in this seed. Maybe for Vitreous to save some rupees. And oh wow, JP checking this cave after all.
Oh, he's gonna walk back in. All right. Well, thank you, JP, for proving me wrong.
That was some great map knowledge on JP's part.
All right, JP, what do you do next? We might be going to ice.
I believe, sir, you are correct.
Yeah, this is completely out of sequence. But we can still find the ice rod in here. A unique item is in Tower of Hera. I think we already knew that.
Yeah, that was glove, I want to say.
Yeah, that would fit. See what I did there?
I unfortunately do have to consent that I did see what you did there. So yeah, Ice Palace is always an interesting play, especially since if he had technically left it until it was in Logic, he might have been able to go mode it, but with our V30 hints, he might be fishing for some more useful hint information. We still don't have intel about that Misery Mire fire area with the very long cutscene that we always want to avoid. We also have not seen a hint yet regarding Swamp Palace and the left side, which is another hint we can receive telling us whether or not we need to bother with that whole area. So those are both huge time savers, and they could be on the hint tiles here in Ice Palace.
Is that generic keys in the Swamp Palace big chest?
That's right.
Did I read that correctly? All right.
So not quite the Swamp Palace hint that you want to see, but still good knowledge to have if you're in the backside of Swamp Palace, which does tend to have that big key.
All right, I think JP's gonna opt for the bomb jump.
Yeah, I mean, if he was doing this dungeon in go mode, definitely just probably skip this bomb jump for the sake of speed, especially with the King of Samaria. But yeah, with needing to check all the items in here, looking still for the boots, the flippers, and the ice rod, you're going to want to make sure you have this place fully cleared before you exit.
Okay, Mentosman, what are you gonna do now?
So Mentos making his way back into oh, he's in Light World.
Did he think he missed something in here?
So we saw Mentos. He had to bail out of pod because he ran out of small keys, and he should probably. Oh, he had his portal still there. Okay, so he's good.
All right, it all makes sense now. That just shows you just how important small key management is in this mode.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the rupee counts these guys have. I mean, I remember just a few minutes ago, Mentos had even more keys than JP did, but I think it came down to that routing. He was just missing one extra key, and yeah, that's going to cost him several minutes of having to go out, find a shop, and buy that key. JP with a nice bomb jump.
And that bomb jump is just a little bit more difficult to execute. That's not too bad.
I know that's always a bomb jump that always worries me, because that's not one of those bomb jumps that just takes away some of your health and resets you to position 0 if you fail it. That throws you back down into another layer of the dungeon.
So that intel also said a unique item was in Turtle Rock.
Oh! So is that 2 unique items, or is that a dupe hint?
That could easily be a duplicate hint. I don't think there's any rules on that.
Yeah, I mean, because I know that our hints are not logically consistent. Like, you can get a hint after you've already gone to the area that the hint gives you knowledge about.
I mean, short of something showing up in Ice Palace, Turtle Rock is probably the play at this point. We'll see what Mentosman does.
And with that hammer, though, we do have full access to Swamp Palace now.
I think we're missing flippers, though.
Oh, wow. Yep.
Oh, it's one of those.
Just a slight requirement for a dungeon full of water.
I mean, someday somebody's gonna figure out a fake flipper inside Swamp.
Yeah, I think they're actually there. Is there like a bounty on that glitch in the community?
I don't know, but if you were able to do it, that would save so much time in NMG.
If there isn't one already, I'll start the pool. If you can find that a fake flipper glitch for inside Swamp Palace, let us know. You'll be handsomely rewarded with a firm handshake, probably.
Alright, I think BrewersFanJP is getting the hint now that he needs to go to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, especially with that second TR hint. Pretty hard to ignore at this point. Also, I think he has literally nothing else to do except Spike Cave. And the Magic Bat.
You know, this gives Mentosman a little bit of room to catch up, because Mentosman could easily go mode Ice.
That's true. There was no value in Ice beyond the crystal off of the boss.
So both of our runners are going to be entering Turtle Rock. At around the same time-ish, at least. Give or take.
Yeah, Mentos getting here a little bit sooner, but again, he is still that full Ice Palace behind. But hopefully by the time he gets there, he will be able to go mode it.
We'll get our look at another hint. Thanks, game.
Love that hint. So glad it hasn't been removed yet. Seeing some questions in chat about Ped. Ped is not dead. Ped could have the flippers or the boots, but at this point, unless the Ice Rod is in Magic Bat or at Spike Cave, it is in Turtle Rock.
I think we've read what was on pedestal, I thought.
Oh, that's right. It was a little bit of love, I think.
Money.
Money, that's right.
I know it was trash.
I'm too focused on this Swamp Palace flipper glitch. I'm gonna go with that.
So what is going to be our unique item inside Turtle Rock? You know there has to be some progression in here.
I mean, if it's nice, if it's not Ice Rod, that would be pretty devious for the scene.
I mean, the way it's set up right now, Ice Rod could easily be inside Ganon's tower. This is a pendant dungeon.
Yeah, I mean, so far the seed has not required any double dips at all, and I feel like at least one double dip, we should see that in a seed. So let's hope that our unique item is either the flipper of the boots, or even better, something like our single artisanal arrow. My apologies, it can't be the arrow, of course.
There's our boots. I think Mentosman skipped that chest. I think he did. I think he stole the key and left. Or did he get it?
I see Mentosman with boots.
Okay. That could be our unique item then.
Yeah, that's definitely at least one of possibly more than one. We'll have to see.
Well, right now, the best case for our runners is that the ice rod shows up. That's what we're really looking for right now. Otherwise, this will be a required double dip.
I mean, I know that you are still in the. I believe you're in the group stage, right, Sinek?
No, I did not qualify.
Oh, I'm sorry, but yeah, I think you at least tried. Whereas I have never even attempted to get into any of these things. So I personally am on the side of liking to watch the runners suffer as much as possible with zero empathy. So a required double dip for Ice Rod, fantastic.
Mentosman showing us some laser skips. It's beautiful. Alright, so that is it for Turtle Rock. Looks like the boots will be our progression item and our unique item inside TR. So now I suspect he's probably going to take those to the library. He's going to claim his Ether medallion, and we'll probably see a check of Misery Mire.
Yep, and have to see if he decides to stop for any fetch quests on the way, or you're seeing here him checking a couple of quick boots lock locations.
This seed got really linear really quick. So JP will be the first to get our Ether medallion.
Alright, so Mentos checking off both of our boots lock locations, not paying off for him.
Oh, and we might be yep, we're getting our powder check too. We'll see what the bat has for us.
Okay, now this could be significant. Just a big 20.
Well, those locations are now out of the way, so depending on what BrewersFanJP finds in Mire, we're still looking for the ice rod and the flippers.
That's right, we've got 2 items that we still need to find. We've only got 2 items available in Mire, period. And based on current seed logic, I believe, did we get both the compass and the map in Turtle Rock?
I do not recall.
Well, assuming we did, then we are going to need to find the flippers here in Mire.
So chat brings up a good point. This is actually 5 items in Mire. So there's we have a better chance of finding what we're looking for, assuming that they're not all keys.
Oh, that's right, we got retro.
Yeah, I don't know how many keys we found so far. I wasn't keeping track of that. Might be a good idea for future reference. But I mean, the first chest not panning out, just the compass. And Mentosman is also making his way into Mire. Those are flippers.
There we go. We are down to an ice rod.
Ice rod go mode, best go mode.
you know, the best part, because Ice Rod is required for a pendant, we could be cruising through without a go mode for any of our dungeons at this rate until we get to GT. Ice Rod could be hiding right there this whole time.
And if that's the case, all the advantage that Mentosman would have over JP by go moding ice would just be out the window at that point.
Yeah, that's right. After Meyer, now that they have those slippers, it's going to be a non-go mode swamp, finish Total Rock, and then Mentos is going to want to have to do the exact same thing JP already did and go through all of Meyer looking for that Ice Rod. I'm sorry, going through Ice Palace.
We do have a hint tile coming up on JP's side. We'll see if he reads it. Some runners tend to skip it, but yeah, he's going for it. Some cash is in plain sight. Pretty vague.
Definitely a terrible hint.
Well, it can't all be winners, right?
Well, literally, actually, from the way these things are designed.
So if the Ice Rod doesn't show up, BrewersFanJP could start checking those overworld locations also that Mentosman had already done with the boots. So that will also help out Mentosman a little bit.
That's a great point. I could, since he's already locked into the Myra area, I can easily see him immediately moving to Light World, fluting back up, and going to look at those remaining boots locations, along with the fake powder on the way. You know, just get those fetch quests out of the way as soon as possible. Now, remind me, did we actually get a catfish check yet, or did we only get up to Zora through Light World?
I think we did get a catfish check. And I think it was garbage.
Okay, that would probably explain why I can't even remember if it happened.
Yeah, over time you tend to kind of, if something was junk, you just tend to forget about it. When you're playing, it just kind of disappears from your memory.
Especially if you comment a couple C's in one day and you watch a couple other races, everything just becomes a blur after a certain point.
So, JP does have the money to burn on the silver arrow shots on Vitreous. Mentosman has a little bit less money. It's 50 rupees a shot with the silver arrows. So we'll see if they opt for that or if they go a more traditional route.
I'm thinking, yep, JP immediately pulling out the cape and is going to do the Pegasus boot strats. Definitely agree with this play. Vitreous is so expensive with the silver arrows. It is 500 rupees to do the full boss clear.
Slightly traditional, I'll say. Like, randomizer traditional.
Okay, there we go. And he is out of here with his 6th crystal.
Alright, yeah, so Mentosman is showing us the NMG strategy for Vitreous.
Very nice kill by Mentos.
Alright, yeah, JP is gonna go check those boots lock locations. Whereas I see Mentosman going straight in the swamp.
I mean, we'll have to see. He does still have Ice Palace, and he might be more interested in that over Swamp.
I mean, Swamp would have more chest locations, though. So this mathematically would feel like a better play.
Yep, very true. It looks like he's going for that, going for the Swamp play. Question in chat about Hylia Island, 5 rupees. Ether tablet was checked. That is a, I believe, a heart container or a heart piece. Not something that we're going back for.
Alright, and Mentosman is now starting to dive into Swamp Palace. Now the question is, will the Ice Rod show up here? That is going to dictate the next 15 minutes of this game.
For the sake of Mentosman, I'm actually really hoping the Ice Rod does show up here in Ice Palace, because that will mean he can go mode Ice Palace and make up a little bit of the time that he is behind JP at this point.
And we know the big chest has a small key. I'm not sure if both runners saw that hint or not. So really, this is down to where in the world is the Ice Rod? That's the game right now.
Yeah, the most infamous troll item in most rando modes coming back to troll us once again. It can literally be anywhere except on Trinex when Turtle Rock is a pendant.
Alright, Mentosman is fighting Argus.
After consulting his map to make sure he's in the right room.
You gotta know where the boss is at.
That's true. I mean, you don't want to be fighting a random mob and thinking you're done.
Alright. Phase 2. Yeah. That is a beautiful Argus kill in Phase 2.
Very nice kill, getting himself another heart piece for his troubles, up to 18 hearts. Very healthy seed.
Now, JP's giving us a look on the west side of Swamp. There's our Butter Sword.
Oh, there we go.
And a piece of paper.
So yeah, I'm not surprised that Mentos is going in for this, in for these items. Given the fact that he is still looking for that ice rod, and he has yet to clear Ice Palace. But this could have let him make up a little bit of ground if he had found a hint somewhere about the left side of ice. But unfortunately, it does not seem to be present in this seed.
Yeah, this also means that Mentosman is probably going to full clear Ice Palace at this point. And JP is going to be able to, once he finishes Swamp Palace, is going to be able to dive into GT. Which is probably the next play. I say
Yep.
Yep, JP probably has the advantage at this point.
I think it's, yeah, JP has a clear edge right now. Going to be really hard for Mentosman to make up the time. We'd have to see one of those things like JP going through full clearing Gan's Tower looking for the big key, and it being on Tile Room, and Mentos immediately going into Tile Room to see Mentos sort of recover at this point.
Now, Mentosman left the item in west side of Swamp behind, which was our final sword upgrade. Fortunately for him, it wasn't our ice rod.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. It'll be interesting to see how long he waits until he goes back for that, because once he clears ice here and has no ice rod, he's going to be thinking, you know, do I go back get those 2 items from Swamp, or am I going to go full clear Ganon's Tower and hope to find the ice rod?
Exactly. Alright, JP, what are you gonna do? Alright, those 2 boots lock locations that he skipped earlier.
Yep, and after these, I think he did go past, he did skip Magic Bat just now.
This is gonna buy Mentos a little bit of time. Not a whole lot, but a little bit at least.
Yeah, this is really good news for Mentos, especially since that Ice Rod being in GT is a huge question mark on the seed, and is going to come down to routing decisions, whether or not you know, when you find that big key in the lower part of Gan's tower, do you start the climb and hope that the ice rod pops up on the climb or not? Or do you finish clearing?
So, speaking about the big key, we're going to start our big key guessing game. Get your guesses in chat. If you are subscribed to any speed gaming channel or have cheered a total of 250 bits in any channel, you are eligible for a leaderboard. That being said, everybody is still welcome to join. You have up until BrewersFanJP enters Ganon's Tower to get your guesses in.
Sinak, what's your bet?
I'm going 15 this time around.
Well, I already put mine in chat, so you can't accuse me of undercutting you, but I did go with 13.
Well, hey, yesterday I played the guessing game and I won. I got accused of rigging it, so if I win again, yes, everybody in chat will hate me, that's all.
It's alright. Chat's called me a witch before for predicting things. After a mob of people on the internet demand you be burned at the stake, you kind of get desensitized to it after a while. Chat, I can still see you.
Alright, final call, get your guesses in.
Alright, JP heading into GT as Mentos gets ready to drop in on Cold Stare. Let's see how JP decides to route this tower.
Alright, number 1, heart piece. And number 2. So we got 1 and 2. Alright, and Mentosman8 also finishes off Cold Stare. Claims his 7th crystal. And he's also going to be making his way over to Ganon's Tower. Three is 20 rupees. 4 is fire shield. 5 is the mushroom. And 6 is a heart container.
Oh yeah, let's get some more of that fetch quest action here.
Yeah, I heard you guys like fetch quests. Alright. Number 7 is the riot shield. Number 8 is a piece of heart. Number 9 is also a piece of heart. 10 is $20. And 11 is a small key.
I just noticed JP 20 hearts.
That's pretty nice. The 4 hearts that you find are not in the, are also in the item pool, so any hearts I think beyond this will be rupees. I think they get reverted to rupees.
Yeah, it's definitely something that is much more likely to happen in the retro mode, so you know, still neat to see, but of the available options in Randomizer, Retro is when you're most likely to find people with a full heart load out like that.
All right, chest number 8, piece of heart. Nine is 20 rupees, 10 is a piece of heart, 11 is 20 rupees, and 12 is a small key. And looks like Mentosman is also making the right side play as well. So he's not going to be able to save any time with that.
All right, come on, Bob.
Hold on, did I miscount? I think that was actually 16. So that'd be 17. I'll figure it out later. Well, no. I'll have to do some recounting in my head.
Yeah, anyway, regardless, having to do Ice Armos actually being the relatively expensive refight here.
So which one was that? I'm bad.
So let's see, we've got Tile Room left. Allegedly 3 more, but I can't for the life of me figure out where they are. Alright, so that is 21, according to our tracker.
Okay.
JP is, however, going to go check the Tile Room, see if this is the Ice Rod.
Alright, and congratulations to our Green Paradox, the winner of the big key game. So there's a glitch where if you pull up against the wall while you have the magic cape running, you will not consume any magic. It's kind of cool.
Oh, and just the map.
So what we're looking for has to be in the top half of GT, doesn't it?
Yeah, we have narrowed that Ice Rod down to somewhere in the upper portion of GT or behind that mushroom.
Alright, so I'm gonna ask chat here. Where do you think that Ice Rod's at now? Which room? Do you think it's in Helmasaur room? The chest before Moldorm 2? The chest after Moldorm 2? Or Mushroom? Get your guesses in. Just for fun.
And that's right, we do still have the Spike Room as well. Oh, I'm sorry, Spike Cave.
That was never checked. That's correct. Yeah, chat pointing out Thieves Town Big Chest also apparently has not been checked. Hammer pegs may have also not been checked. And so we have a few locations where this ice rod could be.
Yeah, those are also great locations. It is again an item. Literally can be when TR is dependent anywhere in the entire seed except Trinex himself. We've got JP heading into Limo 2, while Mentos is doing his tile room again, wanting to make sure he's not leaving anything at all behind in GT.
Alright, Mentosman finds the big key. He's working his way up Ganon's tower as well. Has a little bit of catching up to do. We'll just have to wait and see how the ice rod pans out. That's really the big question mark we have right now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the mushroom seems like an obvious check to make, but I'm wondering if the runners have realized that they still have that Spike Cave outstanding, and if we've got Ice Rod and Spike Cave, that could maybe give us a little bit more catch-up for Mentosman.
Helmasaur room was a bust.
So we have got 2 more chests left here in GT. A bloopy! We are down to Moldorm 2 chest.
Drum roll, please.
JP making very quick work of that worm, and here we go. It's the compass!
So, it's not there. It's not in Ganon's tower. We're still going to be doing some hunting.
Alright, so let's go back over our options here. We've got Spike Cave. We've got Mushroom. We've got Hammer Pegs. Is there anything else that we have forgotten?
TR Big Chest. None of our runners had the hammer at the time.
Thieves Town.
Yeah.
Alright, so that's 4.
Yeah, sorry. Okay.
So 4 locations. Which of those locations are we going to see the Ice Rod in? Still next, do you have a preference?
I just say probably the TR Big Chest. That's a very innocent looking chest up until you get screwed by it.
You know, that's true, and especially since in so many seeds, when you can't access that chest your first run through, you'll find the key on blind, meaning there's just a small key in the chest.
Alright, JP, what do you do now? Where are you gonna go?
We received a hint that Pyramid Fairy does not have any useful items, and I believe there was one other location we can rule out because we got a hint for it. We checked it. The pedestal. Pedestal is dead on this.
Alright, there. Cross off Mushroom.
Alright, 3 locations to go.
I mean, depending on what Mentosman does next after he leaves Ganon's tower, this could turn the tide on this race. This is not over yet.
Yeah, we've got JP headed down for either the Pegs or Thieves Town. It's looking like Thieves Town for him. Okay, Mentos through Aga 2, while JP just making his way to the back of Thieves Town again.
All right.
So if we've got this, if we've correctly counted for everything, 3 locations, JP is about to hit 1. As soon as he finds that, he'll be in a great position for the second, which is the Hammer Pegs. And then we've also got that Spike Cave on Death Mountain.
All right, Mentos man, what are you gonna do? All right.
Okay, Mushroom. Same thing as JP. Very understandable play.
It's the fastest check of all the 4.
Okay, JP, approaching that chest. There it is!
There it is indeed. There's our ice rod. At 2 hours, 8 minutes, and 5 seconds, BrewersFanJP is in go mode.
Wow, that is, wow.
So that means that Turtle Rock was not a required double dip, right?
That's right. They, I'm not sure if Thieves Town was a required double dip, but they needed to just get there after pod.
So I mean, at this point, if you're the runner, right, and you're staring at IRC. Most runners keep their IRC for speed runs live up, and you're seeing that your opponent has not finished this. You're probably like wondering what did they do as well. You're going to be starting a meta game internally to figure out, all right, did they also double dip TR? Did they not find the ice rod there? You know, you're kind of gonna be in a panic state because they could dot done any second now.
I mean, with the way that both these runners have done things, they've both made gambles that have turned out to be not worth it. Like a great example, JP did do that full swamp palace clear, did not need left side. Mentos skipped the left side, and that has paid off for him, saving him a little bit of time. So I feel like both of these runners have to be thinking, you know, that dot done is coming at any second, and they are starting to feel the pressure.
And now it's just down to execution, really. That's the name of the game at this point.
Yep. Aside from the gold sword giving a very slight advantage on Ganon, which is still possible to take Ganon out without gaining a time advantage with the tempered sword. So we'll have to see how these guys play this.
Alright, JP is starting his try next fight. With the gold sword, it's just gonna be 3 whacks on each head. And then 3 on Trinex himself.
Yeah, just missing that that 0 cycle there. And there he goes. Trinex is down.
There is our 3rd pendant. Alright, now this makes Ganon vulnerable in Phase 4, so we'll be able to finally defeat him. They'll probably flute to 4, his head straight up, and then portal to the Dark World, and then we'll finish this fight.
Yeah, definitely one of those sort of minor convenience things of having to do the all dungeon setting here.
Alright, and JP starts his Ganon fight.
Yep, at the same time as Mentosman goes and starts his Trinex.
Now, Mentosman does have Tempered Sword, so it's going to take 5 hits instead of 3.
Meanwhile, JP already on Ganon Phase 3.
The gold sword really makes things a lot faster in Phase 1 and 2.
Mentosman about 1 minute and 45 seconds behind JP right now. JP pulling out a double, and another double, and that's it.
And BrewersFanJP has finished this race in first place with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 15 minutes, and 5 seconds. Everybody spam GG's in chat for him.
Definitely get those GGs out there. This little bit of a trolley seat at the end there with an ice rod in a back out of the way location our runners probably weren't even thinking about until they were absolutely forced to after the full clear of GT.
Alright, on Mentosman's side, he is also got Ganon into Phase 4. Probably get a double. A single there. Just one more hit. There we go. And Mentosman8 has finished this race in second place with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 16 minutes, and 22 seconds. I'll also spam GG's for him as well.
barely a minute difference between these two runners in a 2-hour plus seed. That is a tight race.
Indeed. And looks like we've got BrewersFanJP. I'll bring him in. GG, JP.
Thank you.
So, what do you think about the ice rod?
Oh man, that was just a crazy location for that. Oh man, like when it was not in GT, my heart sank a little bit because I thought, oh, this is bad. And that's kind of the reason I went to Thieves Town right away, because I'm thinking, all right, it's likely we both did not do this with the hammer, so if it's here, I've got a chance. And I was there. So, wow. Oh, I mean, this is kind of an argument against all dungeons when you have to deal with something like that.
So how are you when you finished GT there and still need that ice rod? How are you feeling in terms of your placement? Because you hadn't seen a dot done from Mentosman. Were you feeling like you might have had the lead if you were behind? Where did you think the race was?
Well, when I started wasn't in GT, at that point I still had some hope, because I'm like, okay, if the mushroom leads to ice rod, then we both had to do that. So I felt kind of good. And when it wasn't, that's when I started to, I don't want to say panic, but I really got worried, because at that point I'm thinking he can dot down at any second.
So, JP, going forward in this tournament, have you scheduled any of your other matches? And got a preview on any of those for us too?
Not yet. I haven't scheduled anything yet. I just finished up 3 races in about 27 hours. So it was a bit of a busy day plus. So I am taking probably at least another day or 2 off. I'm going to get some more scheduled. Yeah, we'll see how those go. Yeah. I mean, it's a crazy day already as it was.
I've got Mentosman8 in our chat now. GG, Mentosman.
Hey, how's it going? GG, JP.
Yeah, GG.
So I asked JP this. I want to ask the elephant in the room. What did you think about that ice rod placement?
I mean, the trend of my races for the past month has been at least one item is in the last possible spot it could be, and that was pretty close to it, so wasn't anything I'm not used to. Was kind of rude putting it in the TT big chest, but I mean, yeah, I've seen worse.
So it was a really close race. We were thinking for a second since so BrewersFanJP. So JP, you went into Ice Palace first. You fake flippered into there and you did Ice Palace. Mentosman waited to get the flippers before doing that. And that was after Swamp. What kind of prompted you to make that fake flipper play early into Ice?
Well, at that point, I was still, I think, 4 items from go mode. And I kind of wanted to make sure I was able to, if I could, do Turtle Rock in one go. And I knew I could finish Ice Palace. So I decided to do Ice first, just because it was a Crystal Dungeon I knew I could finish, even though it wasn't in Logic yet. I did get a little, was a little sad when I saw that there was really nothing in it. But I figured, it's a Crystal Dungeon, if I can get through this quick. I mean, I guess Crystal versus Pen doesn't really matter in all dungeons, but I wanted to take out a crystal dungeon for sure first, just in case it had something I could. I wanted to basically full clear the dungeon I could full clear, versus going into the dungeon I couldn't full clear.
I'm terrible at asking questions, so I'm trying to think of more. So Mentosman, have you scheduled any of your other races?
No, nothing more scheduled yet.
What are you thinking, like, going forward? So, as you move forward through your group stage.
If I'm being honest, please let this be over so I can take a very long break, because this is getting mentally taxing at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking at your races, and I mean, you've had a rough run. I mean, I think you've had like 5 races that have been like 5 minutes or less difference, and that's just got to be really, really hard on you.
Yeah, and outside of tournament, I've had like a few 20+ minute losses, and the past, like, since the second qualifier I won, I have been having very, very bad luck, and it's gotten draining by this point.
Yeah, I can really imagine that. I mean, just like I said, just being at this point, I mean, you've deserved. I mean, I know we don't do anything like this in Random. If we're talking like other sports where you have like a Pythagorean win-loss, you should be like at a 2-4 or 3-3 or something like that at this point. I feel like. I don't know if that. I just don't know if that made sense or not.
Yeah, a little bit.
So, how are you guys feeling about the new tournament format in general for the group stages, with the seeds varying from race to race as opposed to the previous tournaments where it has just been one mode?
It's a lot better, in my opinion. It gives you a little bit more variety instead of just, let's play this one mode for months. Like, my first tournament was the Key-Sandy tournament, and I grew to hate Key-Sandy from playing it 50 times a week. Exaggeration, but you get the idea.
Yeah, I do like it in the fact that it keeps everything nice and fresh. There is, to some extent, I don't like it as much because, just because you can't practice one mode as much, you got to kind of variety it up a little bit. And when you're going from like one mode to a completely different mode in a different race, I don't want to say it's mentally draining. It's more like it's sometimes it can be hard to shift that mindset going into a different mode.
Yeah, especially with retro, you start having to make different routing decisions to find those take any caves. Like JP, we thought you were gonna almost not find that sword, the sword cave, but you went back and you found that, and that kind of gave you a little bit of an edge. I know Mentosman found it because it was part of his routing. What kind of led you to kind of go back and check that cave?
Well, I wanted to find the tempered because tempered, it makes a pretty big difference. With my routing, I kind of didn't get to warp to 5, so I figured, okay, I'm just gonna warp to 5 quick. I know I can do a light world, dark world check just to see if it's there. Then I'll head out, and I poke my head in, see it, and then I dip out really quick, and like, oh wait, there it is. And I mean, yeah, I think that was the biggest thing. Is just I knew I could get 2 quick take any cave checks at 5, so I went back there because I know there was no other time I was going to be able to route that in.
All right. So I have one more question, I think, for Mentosman. I also noticed that you made the gamble to skip the right side of swamp, the left side of swamp. Was that conscious? What was kind of your reasoning behind that?
Yeah, we got, what was it? The big key was in the flooded chest, I think it was. So by the time I got through Argus, there were 2 items left in there. So I decided, okay, I'll go in, I'll open the big chest. If it is an item, then I'll leave. If it's, I'll risk that one. If it's not an item, then I'm gonna stick around. And then it was a key, so I'm like, yep, I'll risk that one.
Yeah, I did see the hint for Swamp Palace, so I was able to skip that big chest. Nice thing about Retro, at least, I was able to flood the key and save a little time.
So, both of you, do you have any final thoughts before we wrap this broadcast up?
I mean, this was this was a race. I mean, like I said, this is kind of, if you want a reason to not play all dungeons, this is pretty much it right here. But yeah, this is a good race overall. I mean, good racing with you, Mentos. I really hope you get some wins here, because you really do deserve to be better than what your record is right now.
Right back at you. I think these are the first couple times that we have actually raced, despite being around this community for ages, so it's been fun to have a chance to race you.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this on the Discord too, but I kind of known you for a while just because you called my first ever tournament win, and it was just a crazy race. I won by like 30 seconds in a Key Sanity seed that was a PED seed, and basically, what was it? Like a required GT double dip because GT Big Q was on the pedestal. Not gonna go more into that, but it was I definitely was looking forward to this because of that. Because like, I've known you because of that race.
If I remember that one quite well too, because that was my first time on commentary, and I ended up with that monstrosity.
Fair enough.
Other than that, just thanks you guys for the restream, commentary, tracking, all that as usual. I'm sure it's a great stream. I'm going to watch it back here in a little bit, I'm sure.
Yeah, thanks for all your hard work, guys.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for racing. Again, everybody who's still here, give BrewersFanJP and Mentosman8 a follow. They did an excellent job giving us a really nice race to watch this evening. Also, please follow our tracker, Itsudimo. I think I pronounced that correctly. If I didn't, I'm sorry. And then also my fellow co-commentator, 2Decay.
Thank you, Synac. And before we head out, just a reminder, if you are digging this Link to the Past Randomizer tournament, we have got a lot of channels for you to follow as well. We have ALTTP Randomizer and ALTTP Randomizer 2 through 5, I believe. You can find all of our tournament matches, or at least a huge chunk of them, on those channels. Also, please give a follow to Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 6. They are going to be filled with more Randomizer as we go through this tournament, and a lot of other great speed games for you to watch. That is it. Good night from me, and I hope to see you all soon here in our fall tournament.
Good night, everybody.